Once you have your bag cover made and your handles made, you can go ahead and sew these right on without the stabilizer, without the plastic canvas inside. So if you don't want to do the plastic insert and you don't want to do the liner, you just make your sleeve like this and then make the handles and then attach them. So I'm going to show you now how to make these handles and how to attach them. If you want to do the plastic stabilizer insert, you're going to want to do that part first and then come back to attaching these. So I'm going to show you how to make these for the people that want to just skip right to this. But if you are doing like me and you're adding the inserts inside, you're going to want to do this part first. So now that I have this part done, I can attach these handles, but I'm going to show you how to make the handles right now. In the next part here, we're going to make the handles. So I've got the handles here to show you. The handles are constructed by just making two very large, long rectangles for the length that you want your handle to be. I actually made this a little bit longer than I wanted to, so the next one I'm going to do just a little bit shorter. And so you're going to make two rectangles. So I've made one rectangle like this for however long you want it to be. So you just hold it up, you know. You can put these two ends down and see if that's about how high you want your handle to be. And then you just need to make two identical ones. So I've made this one, and I've done it 6 stitches wide. So once you've done your rectangle, this very last row that we did, just like we did on our sleeve, we're going to go around the whole piece. So once we do our last row on the right side, we're going to just continue around, and we're going to put 2 more stitches in that last stitch. And this is all made in single crochet. If I didn't mention that before, this is just a single crochet rectangle. And then you're going to go all the way around the piece, and I'm going to put 2 single crochets, skip a stitch, and put 2 all the way down, and just go all the way around the piece in single crochet. So just make this this rectangular piece, single crochet around the piece, and then I'll show you how to, we're just going to fold it over, and we're going to slip stitch together, but we're going to leave little tabs on the end that we're going to use to sew onto the bag for our handles. So make your rectangle, crochet around it, and then meet me back. Okay, so I have finished this one, and I've single crocheted all the way around the outside. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this to the back. This is your front side, the side with the single crochets on it. This is the back side. And on each end, you're going to leave maybe 4 or 5 rows for the tab that you're going to use to sew in the bag. And you're going to fold it backwards like this, under. So you're leaving this in the front, and then on the back side, it looks like this. You're going to fold that down, and all the way across, we're going to slip stitch. So I'm attached here on this end. So what I'm going to just do is I'm just going to slip stitch around. Okay, so we're slip stitching until we get all the way over to about the 5th row. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So around row 6 there, you're gonna fold this over, and from the back side now, you're gonna start slip stitching the 2 pieces together, and just take all the stitches and slip stitch it together. You go through this stitch and you go through the stitch on the other side, slip it together. So you yarn over, you pull up a loop, and you pull it through the loop on your hook. Yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through the loop on your hook. And just do that all the way until you get to the other side, and you're going to leave down here as well 5 or 6 rows that you can use to have a tab to sew on your bag. So do that on this piece and then make an identical piece for us to attach to our bag. Okay, so if you're ready to attach your handles like I am, I've made my handles, I've got my stabilizer in, and I'm ready to attach them. What you're going to do is you're going to fasten them onto the body of the bag where you would like them to be. And you can use clips for this, like these little clips here, or you can use these kind of pins to kind of just get it in place, or you could just eyeball it as well. If it's the first time you're doing something like this, you might want to pin it in place. So just find where you want, how you want your bag handles to hit, and pin them down. And you can like count from the sides here to make sure that they're the same amount of stitches in on both sides. That's usually what I do. So I'm going to pin mine in place, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how I sew it in. Okay, so I've pinned this handle in place. I've used these lines here across, so these are kind of like grid lines to just kind of see if they're even, and I counted the amount of stitches on this side and tried to line it up on this side. Now on this handle I have a string that's still attached, so I'm just going to use this one. Okay, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna look at the back, and so I'm coming in from this side, so I just need to bring it through to the other side. So find a stitch, bring it on the inside. Okay, and then you're just gonna come up from the inside, and you're just looking as you go, right? So we can take out that one pin so it's out of the way. And then all of the stitches that you have here, I'm just gonna go and grab those stitches, these stitches around the outside, and pull that in. So that first stitch, I'm gonna pull it in, and then I'm gonna go to the next stitch here on the tab and just sew it in like that. Can I get it where you can see it? Go to the next stitch, and then I'm going under these stitches that are here. Where did I come out from? I'll go to the next one. You just feel around so you feel where you can go through the plastic canvas and pull it through. And you just go all the way around this. If you're using a thicker weight of cotton, you might want to split the fiber in half. So like I'm using a thin weight of cotton, so I can get it on my darning needle and I can get through the holes in the canvas and everything a lot easier that way. But if yours is thicker, you might want to try splitting it in two. And we just keep going around. Okay, so you see how that's coming out, and you're just going to keep doing that all the way until you get back up to the top here. So we're coming up near the top of the end of the tab, and I just go all the way until I finish that tab. we go. And I try to kind of close it off here. I get right to where it meets. Okay, and then I'll leave myself this tail here, and I can sew this in to that top row there that I'm going to do my liner on. So for the plastic stabilizer, I have already cut it out. So I have basically made the same shape as the cover of the book. So if you sit the book down in here, you can see that it's almost the same size as the book because my book fits in my book sleeve. If I put this up against the book sleeve, it comes to the outside of these outside seams. So that's how that works. And it comes all the way up to the top there. So for the bottom part, it's actually just a little bit bigger than the book itself. I don't know if you can tell, if I can get away for you to tell, but this is a bit bigger just because the sleeve is wider than the book. So you want to cut out those 3 pieces for your stabilizer and just whip stitch them together like that, and then we're going to insert this inside of our sleeve and we're going to sew it in. So I'll show you how to do that next. Okay, so I have inserted the stabilizer into the sleeve. Now I'm going to try to line it up as I go so that it is flush on this side and this side, not too much on one side or the other. And for the inside, I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to leave one row there so that I have something to sew into for the liner. So I'm going to put this on like my second row, just leaving a little bit. Now if you've done yours too tall, just cut off a row. You're fine, and then you'll have space for that. And to sew this in, I'm just going to take a length of thread that's about 3 lengths of the width of the book. I'm sorry, of the width of the tote. I'm going to start on the side here. I'm just going to line up the side of the corner there that I want to start in. I'm going to go in to that top square on the back, and I'm going to find the very first stitch I want to do on this side. I think it's that one. I'll just make sure that it looks good on the other side, and that looks good. So I'm going to enter right here, and I'm just going to do a stitch straight across, catching those the plastic canvas as I go. So I'm going to connect. I'm just going to leave a tail that I can weave in after, and I just go over a stitch, and every time I go over a stitch, I'm going to grab another square on the canvas. I'm going to go to the next square on the canvas, and then I'm going to go to the next stitch. I'm just going to sew it in all the way across like that. Okay, so it'll look like that as you're going along. And you'll just want to do that on this side and then on the other side. And then meet me back and I'll show you how it looks on my one. Once you've sewn in your stabilizer, it'll look like this. And I've got my tails still there because I didn't sew my tails in yet. But you have one side looking like that, like that. And now your tote will stand up by itself. Very nice and square and neat. If you've enjoyed this series on creating this book tote, please let me know in the comments below. I know I've done it in a couple of different videos. The next one will be for the liner, and then I'll have a separate video to show you how to make this moon. And then the moon can also be made into like a coaster. So this is a worsted weight version of the moon, and this is a lightweight version of the moon made into a clip. So I'll show you guys the moon in a couple of weeks. If you have any suggestions or questions, please comment below. Thank you.